Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tieu Lac. I hope you have a wonderful day. Quan has finally found Tieu Lac, but instead of rushing toward her, he chooses to remain hidden. As he watches her care for Kien, he discovers a painful truth and follows her to the place she now calls home. Will Quan find the courage to face her, or will his guilt keep them apart? Let's follow today's story, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It was really Tieu Lac. For several seconds, Quan could not move. He had imagined this moment many times during the days he spent searching for her. In those thoughts, he always ran toward her without hesitation. He called her name, explained everything, and refused to let her walk away again. But now that she was standing only a short distance from him, reality felt completely different. Tieu Lac looked thinner than before. Her face seemed pale beneath the afternoon light, and she moved more carefully as she carried the food toward the construction site. Even from a distance, Quan could see that something about her had changed. His first instinct was to step forward. Then he remembered Kien's words. Tieu Lac had not left without a reason. Quan's silence and hesitation had helped push her away. If he suddenly appeared now, she might not feel relieved to see him. She might only remember the pain that made her leave the farm. Quan stopped himself before taking another step. Finding her did not mean she was ready to return with him. It did not even mean she wanted to see him. So Quan stayed where he was, partly hidden from the workers, and watched. Tieu Lac approached Kien and asked whether he had almost finished his work. Kien looked surprised to see her. He told her that he was nearly done and asked her to wait in a cooler place while he completed the last part of his task. Tieu Lac agreed and moved away from the busiest area of the construction site. Quan remained silent. He kept enough distance to avoid being noticed, but he could still see the way Kien looked at his younger sister. There was no anger in his expression now. He seemed concerned that she had come all the way there under the hot sun. When Kien finished, he joined her. He asked how she had known where to find him. Tieu Lac explained that he had mentioned working at a construction site nearby. She had walked through the area and found only one active site, so she had guessed that this was the place. Her answer was simple, but Quan noticed the effort behind it. She had prepared food, carried it through the heat, and searched for the correct location because Kien had not returned home for lunch. Tieu Lac told him that it was already late and she had become worried when he did not come back. Kien explained that he was trying to complete the work in front of him. Since he could not return home at noon, he had planned to buy something to eat nearby. Tieu Lac opened the food she had brought. She had prepared rice and a small amount of other food for him. Kien looked at the meal, then asked whether she had already eaten. Tieu Lac said she had left a portion at home and could eat after returning. She was not hungry yet, so he should eat first and rest before continuing his work. Quan listened from a distance. He remembered the same gentle persistence from the farm. Tieu Lac always worried about others before thinking about herself. Even after everything she had experienced, that part of her had not changed. Kien began eating. Tieu Lac stayed beside him and asked whether the food tasted right. He told her it did. She looked relieved and encouraged him to continue eating so he would have enough strength to finish the day's work. The scene in front of Quan was peaceful, but it made the pressure inside his chest grow heavier. He had spent days imagining Tieu Lac alone and unsafe. Seeing her with Kien gave him some relief. Her brother was working honestly, and the two of them seemed to be taking care of each other. But that relief was mixed with guilt. Tieu Lac should not have needed to carry food through the heat while looking so pale. Quan studied her face again. Only a short time had passed since she left the farm, yet she appeared more exhausted than he remembered. Her skin had lost its healthy color, and her body seemed weaker. Quan wanted to walk over and ask whether she was ill. He wanted to tell her she no longer had to struggle alone, but he remained hidden. Kien looked at Tieu Lac and told her that she should not bring food to him again. He reminded her that she was pregnant and should not walk so far under the sun. If he did not return for lunch, she should eat first instead of waiting for him or carrying food to the construction site. Quan's expression changed. Pregnant. The word reached him clearly. He looked at Tieu Lac again, this time with a new understanding. The careful way she moved, the tiredness in her face. Kien's concern, Quan felt as if the noise around the construction site had suddenly disappeared. He had found Tieu Lac, but in the same moment, he realized how much of her life he had already missed. Tieu Lac quietly told Kien that she understood. She did not argue. She simply asked him to keep eating. When she noticed the heat, she picked up a fan and began fanning him while he ate. Kien tried to stop her and said he could fan himself. Tieu Lac refused. She told him to finish his meal and rest because he still had more work to do. Quan watched her care for her brother and felt another wave of regret. She had once brought the same warmth into his home. She had filled the farm with a sense of family without asking for anything in return. Now she was sitting only a short distance away, carrying his child, and he did not even have the courage to let her know he was there. Kien continued eating while Tieu Lac sat beside him. Quan knew that if he stepped out now, both of them would be shocked. Kien might become angry. Tieu Lac might immediately leave. And if she became frightened or distressed, her condition could be affected. For once, Quan understood that what he wanted was not the only thing that mattered. He had to think about what Tieu Lac could handle. So he forced himself to wait. He would not turn this moment into another wound. When Kien finished eating, Tieu Lac reached for the containers. He handed them to her and told her to put everything away. The sun was still strong, and Kien urged her to return home. He told her to rest and not go anywhere else that afternoon. Tieu Lac agreed. She reminded him to rest before returning to work, then began gathering the containers into the bag she had carried. Kien told her he would finish the remaining work and come home later. Tieu Lac said goodbye and began walking away from the construction site. Quan's heart tightened. This was the moment he had feared. If he let her leave without doing anything, he might lose the only chance he had to find out where she was staying. But if he called her name, everything would change immediately. Tieu Lac still had not seen him. Kien had not noticed him either. Quan made a decision. He would follow her. He would keep enough distance to remain unseen and learn where she was living. Once he knew she had a safe place to stay, he could decide how to approach her without forcing her into a confrontation. Tieu Lac walked slowly along the road. Quan waited until she was far enough from the construction site before moving after her. He stayed behind trees, walls, and roadside objects whenever possible. He did not want her to turn around and suddenly see him following. The distance between them was not large, yet it felt enormous. Quan had spent so many days wondering whether Tieu Lac was near or far away. Now he could see every careful step she took, but he still could not speak to her. At one point, Tieu Lac slowed down. Quan stopped immediately. She adjusted the bag in her hand and rested for a moment before continuing. The small action worried him. Before leaving the farm, she had worked for long hours without complaining. Now even the walk home under the hot sun seemed to exhaust her. Quan wanted to take the bag from her. He wanted to stand beside her and protect her from the heat. Instead, he stayed hidden and watched her continue alone. The road gradually became quieter. The sounds of the construction site faded behind them. Tieu Lac turned onto a smaller path leading toward a modest residential area. Quan followed carefully. He began to understand why Kien had been working at that particular site. The place where they were living was not far away. Tieu Lac had probably walked along the same road when she searched for him earlier. After another short distance, she approached a simple house. Quan slowed down. Tieu Lac opened the entrance and stepped inside. He stopped at a place where he could see the house without being noticed. So this was where she had been living. For days, Quan had imagined countless possibilities. He had feared that she might be sleeping outdoors or moving from place to place without anyone to protect her. Now he finally knew the truth. She was living with Kien in a small, modest house near the construction site. It was not the comfortable home she had known at the farm. The building looked simple, and the surrounding area showed how limited their circumstances were. There was nothing luxurious, nothing that could make life easier for a pregnant woman who already looked weak. Quan stared at the house. He had believed that finding Tieu Lac would immediately end the pain of not knowing where she was. Instead, seeing the way she lived created a different kind of pain. Only a week had passed, yet she looked exhausted. She had left the farm carrying fear, disappointment, and a truth Quan had not even known. While he was searching the roads and wondering where she had gone, she had been trying to create a new life with her brother. Quan took one step toward the house. Then he stopped. Tieu Lac was inside. A few more steps would bring him close enough to call her name. He could knock on the door. He could tell her that he had searched everywhere. He could explain that the arranged marriage was never what he wanted. But when the moment came, Quan could not move. He had always thought courage meant refusing to give up. Now he realized that courage might also mean waiting when his presence could cause more pain. Tieu Lac had found temporary safety with Kien. She did not know that Quan had seen her. She did not know he had followed her home, and she did not know that he was standing outside looking at the small house where she was trying to rebuild her life. Quan remained there in silence. He had finally found her. But standing closer to her than he had been in days, he discovered that finding Tieu Lac was only the beginning. The harder question was whether she would ever allow him back into her life.